What's up, guys? Happy Monday, if that is a thing. The Braves have been super busy this week and a lot of really good outings and such. Charlie Morton looked really good in his first outing. 2 2/3. Did give up a solo blast to Oswaldo Cabrera, but a couple of strikeouts, no walks. Really good start to spring. No pitch clock issues. Seemingly no pitch clock issues, at least. Ian Anderson was really solid. Had a couple of walks. One of them was an 0-2 to a walk, so you don't necessarily like that. Jameson, hi, you are the first one in here. But he did strike out 5 of his first 7 batters. And statued Giancarlo Stanton, so that was nice. So a really nice bounce back after his first really rough outing that he had. I think the only main guy that we haven't seen pitch yet is AJ Minter. I've been super impressed with Nick Anderson. I think he's taken the lead for one of those bullpen spots. Touching 95, really looking clean, looking crisp. Joe Jimenez looked really good in his first inning of spring action. I think the outfield competition for left field has been even better than anticipated. I think every one of those guys fighting for a spot has already is hitting over 300 right now, other than Marcell Ozuna. So that is really nice to see. Jordan Luplow is still dealing with his oblique issues, so he's definitely taken a step back a little bit just because he hasn't been able to be on the field and showcase his stuff. So that might be an issue for him. I'm not sure though, because he's on the one non-minor league deal. And that, the 5th starter spot's definitely interesting because, and I'll say that Colby Allard, I definitely was super wrong. And I know it's early on in spring and he's still a very long shot, but he's looked really solid, really comfortable with the pitch clock. Bryce Elder bouncing back after that rough one against the Yankees and mowing down the A team of the Astros. That definitely was a step forward. And Ian Anderson start yesterday was very interesting. Michael Soroka is still dealing with his hamstring stuff, but did have a closed shorter bullpen, and that went well, so they might ramp up his stuff this year, or his program to get him on the mound and see what he has. And then you got Dylan Dodd. I think they'll likely start Dylan Dodd in AAA, but his stuff, and he's looked really amazing to start this year too. So definitely the 5th starter spot is a lot more compelling than I honestly thought it was going to be, especially with the Colby Allard of it all. But I guess that's where we trust AA no matter what. Hey Terry. I think we definitely have a solid 5, and I think we could honestly go with the 6-man rotation early on this year because I don't think we have a lot of off days to start the year. So, and guys aren't going to be necessarily too much. They'll be stretched out to 5 or 6, but probably not 7, 8, or 9 early on. So maybe there could be a 6-man rotation, given how solid the starters have been thus far this spring. And frankly, our main guys out of the bullpen as well have been pretty fresh and really haven't given up much. So that's exciting. But yeah, I think a 6-man rotation to start the year is definitely not out of the question. That is for sure. Yeah, and shockingly, I think he's we haven't, but I can tell you who it is right now. It's Max Fried. I would be shocked if it's anybody else. I would think the rotation, the top 4 are pretty solidified. Max Fried, Max Fried, Spencer Strider, Kyle Wright, and Charlie Morton. Obviously, the only bugaboo or the main bugaboo for Charlie Morton has been the home run ball. So we'll see. We'll see how the pitch clock plays for him. The one thing about the pitch clock that I've noticed is I think that the batter should be allowed 2 timeouts because the pitcher is allowed 2 disengagements from the mound with no penalty, or 2 timeouts rather. And I think that should be allowed because pitchers have already started the manipulation of the quick pitch. And obviously, I think umpires are going to be more aware of that, but I think it should just be the same for both sides to mitigate the quick pitching. Even though quick pitching has been around since the cows come home and since I can remember watching baseball, but I just feel like the batters deserve an equal chance in that regard. So that's my spiel on the pitch clock this live, but that's just my take there. And then I honestly think Eli White has catapulted himself in the outfield conversation. I feel like all of the guys other than Marcell Ozuna, yes, Marcell Ozuna had one good day against Houston, 3 for 4, but I also think Eli White, Kevin Pillar, Eddie Rosario has been hitting the ball well. I'd honestly like Eddie Rosario to be our DH more because he struggles with defense and a left-handed DH. A left-handed and right-handed DH. If you're going to DH Travis d'Arnaud, doesn't sound like a bad thing to me. So I feel like, yeah, Matt Olson. Half of me wants him to save this stuff for the regular season, but I can't fault him, and it's nice to see him very, very comfortable and left-on-left homer yesterday against Carlos Rodon is definitely mid-season form. Riley's starting to get there. I think, Jameson, you said last week Riley got off to a bit of a slow start. Well, he may have heard you because he's not off to a slow start now at all. So that's nice to see. Ronald looks amazing going to the WBC. Eddie looks solid, hitting the ball hard, feels good with his eye situation. All of our regulars look pretty good. Travis has banged a couple hits. Sean Murphy looks amazing so far. Though Ian Anderson had him like a bucking bronco yesterday, but yeah, a lot of our batters look in mid-season form. It's really nice to see, and I know it's spring training, and you try not to freak out and try not to make things bigger than they are, but it's really nice to see. The one, yeah, all the competitions and all of that stuff is really nice to see. It's healthy competition for everybody. I think for me, the two bullpen spots right now are gonna go to Nick Anderson and Jesse Chavez, but I really want Kirby Yates to get one of those two, so I don't know how that's gonna work. I think Dylan Lee has some options. So we might manipulate that, but our bullpen looks super fiery early on as well. I mean, there's so much good. The only bad thing is Marcell Ozuna and Snit came out last week and said that Marcell Ozuna is gonna be on this team, but I don't know if that was just coach speak and it being so early on in spring training and the money, because I feel like Kevin Pillar, Eli White, Sam Hilliard, they've taken a really big step forward, and I would rather have a Eli White, Kevin Pillar platoon, or even a Eli White, Sam Hilliard, whatever you want to do. I think that would be more effective than Marcell Ozuna's been. And I know we have to talk about Marcell Ozuna every week because he's on our roster. But that's just my opinion, and I like that these guys have started off so well that it's created so much of a good problem that I can't really figure it out right now, and I guess that's a good thing. And the only guys that have really struggled pitching wise, bullpen wise, are the youngsters. So yeah, yeah, the regular bullpen has been amazing. Like, I think, I don't, knock on wood, and I know this isn't gonna last the entire spring, but I don't think most of our regular candidates haven't given up a run yet, let alone a hit. So that's really nice. That's really nice, and I know the scores have gone wacky at the end of games, but those are the young guys just getting work and seeing what they can do and all of that stuff. And even some interesting guys that have had great springs. Forrest Wall, he has speed for days and has had an awesome spring so far. Little spotty in the outfield at times, but really good. And then Justin Dean, I know that they're probably definitely a long shot, but I'd almost rather have them than Marcell Ozuna. Of course, I'd probably rather have anyone other than Marcell Ozuna, but that's just the reality of it. And they are those young guys, Forrest Wall used to be a top 100 prospect with the Rockies a few years ago, so that's a nice diamond in the rough. I hope we can somehow keep him in the minor leagues type of guy. And Justin Dean was a 2018 11th round pick out of Lenore Ryan of all places. So that's just very, very nice to see the young guys do some really good things and at least put them in the back of the Braves' mind to maybe fill out the minor leagues and have some great organizational depth overall. I was surprised that we sent down Yaxel Rios already. He was the thank you, pesky pole. I appreciate it. I love the support and all this stuff. So, it's great. It's amazing. It's great to interact with new people and all this stuff. So, thank you. But I can't remember where I was. But yeah, there's just a lot of great things to. And it's funny, it doesn't. We have amazing depth, but our rankings don't say that we do. We have like the bottom ranked farm system, but yet you're finding I'm sure Adam Duvall will definitely help your Sox. I just don't know, if I'm being honest, because Adam Duvall was great in center field for us during our 2021 magical run, but last year putting him in center field early on kind of hurt his production, and when we put him on a corner outfield, he was back to his old self. So I don't know if that's the best move for you guys to have Adam Duvall in center, but I'm really hoping that he has an awesome career with the Red Sox, other than against the Braves. And also prayers up to Justin Turner. Got hit in the face today during spring training against the Tigers. So prayers up to him. 16 stitches, is resting. His scans were clean, so that's nice. Just a lot of swelling, and they're waiting on that. Hopefully that doesn't derail him too much. So yeah. So, but that's kind of my take on Adam Duvall. I love Adam Duvall. He'll always be one of my favorites, and I hope it works out for you guys with him. But you're right, Terry. Rankings for anything is subjective, and you are welcome. And thank you for the support, the like, the subscribe, all of that stuff. It really helps out a lot, and having different fan bases support is just, it's really cool, and it's much appreciated always. So thank you, and hopefully we will cross paths during the season when we play each other, and things of that nature. And don't be afraid to comment and things of that nature, because I always like to hear from different fan bases. So it's always really, really cool. But But yeah, Adam Duvall is one of the best. I will always cheer for him, no matter what. He's actually easier for me to cheer for than Freddie, being in a Dodger uniform, and I didn't think I would say that. Even though I do cheer for Freddie, still it's still a little extra awkward. But free agency is always one of those things that's always going to be there, and I think the way modern day free agency is, it's easier to take, especially the way the Braves operate during free agency, and we understand that, and all of our core is pretty much locked up, and that's always nice, so that you don't have to worry about things of that nature. I think I saw that Jared Schuster is going to pitch tomorrow against the Red Sox. Actually, that's a night game, so that'll be fun. And Jared Schuster could be the guy that pops out of nowhere for us this year. Who knows? You always need 6, 7, 8 guys pitching because the depth of it all. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jared Schuster does tomorrow. And he could throw his hat in the ring with the number 5 rotation guy. I don't know. But he may be a little too young. Or not seasoned enough, or whatever the case may be, but we'll see. That's going to be interesting tomorrow. I've liked Vaughn Grisham's spring so far. He did get a little pitch clock. He got a little manipulated by Carlos Rodon and the pitch clock and the quick pitch and all that stuff, but that's going to happen to even the best guys during this first year of the pitch clock and things of that nature. So I hope he just shakes it off. But overall, he's had a really good spring, good at bats for the most part, and made all the defensive plays. I am wondering. I know Dansby's gone, and I'm happy for him, but I am wondering how he's going to translate to, because the Cubs are already anointing him the team leader and the face of the Cubs, and he hasn't even played yet. Yeah, so I mean, 10 or 11 starters. Yeah, that number, that probably could be accurate, because you might even see like a Colin McHugh. Oh, we haven't seen Colin McHugh pitch yet. Colin McHugh or Jesse Chavez take an opener type of game too as well. That could be a factor in early on in the season. But I want Dansby to do solid, but I think obviously solid, not against us, but I think it's going to be a different type of pressure. The fact that they've already anointed him the face of the franchise and he hasn't played, plus the weather in Chicago early on in the season, plus we all know as Braves fans, we've seen it his entire career. He goes through one of those cold snaps, a really, really cold snap, like the 2-3 week cold snap that he can't hit. He's swinging at the invisible baseball. Maybe it won't happen to him as much as this year, and he'll just find some consistency. But it's just going to be interesting how the bigger market in Chicago is going to react to one of those. And I think the Braves. Now time will tell, obviously, but I think the Braves made the right decision in that, like, giving Vaughn Grisham the first initial full shot and him working with Ron Washington as hard as he has. And you've seen some great results early on in spring training. And I know it's just spring training, but it does matter. I think that the call that we made to give Vaughn Grisham the keys to the car, so to speak, to at least to start, is a nice is nice. Just to give VG that confidence and understand all of that stuff. And I just really appreciate that portion of it. Who knows how it's actually going to work out, but I really, really appreciate the handling of it, whether Dansby thinks it was great or not or whatever, but I could care less now. But I just appreciate how the organization handled that for darn sure. There was some Mets injury news today. Quintana has a fracture in his rib and will be going back to New York for further tests. I think he signed a 2-year, $26 million deal. Although I was kind of confused by this signing anyway, because yes, he's a veteran. Yes, he's been decent throughout his career, but injuries have popped up, and Dustin Peterson has been better for them. So I don't know if that was necessarily money well spent, so to speak, but we'll see there. And I will say, it is nice to see a lot of our guys having solid springs, because you got guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. 0 for 10 and looking really scraggly in the outfield, which that happens, I know, when you're transitioning, but it almost feels like to me that it almost feels like to me that Fernando Tatis' ultimate position is a DH, and I don't know if that's legitimate or not, or just me overthinking the situation or whatever. But who knows? And then Jazz Chisholm has been working the center field, and I think we touched on that last week. It hasn't been the smoothest stuff. Old buddy Jason Hayward has finally stopped bouncing his bat off his shoulder, and it's turned him into an amazing spring so far. So did the Dodgers finally convince him what we and many organizations have been trying to convince him for years? Who knows? But it's nice to see Jason Hayward do some good things this year so far in spring training for the Dodgers, even though it's the Dodgers. Old buddy Will Smith found a job, minor league deal with the Texas Rangers, reuniting with Bruce Bochy. I think he was with Bruce Bochy in San Francisco. That's where we signed him from, so that should be interesting. Another guy that hasn't signed yet, which is kind of surprising to me, is Jerkson Profar. He's an amazing utility guy, so we'll see where that shoe drops. Rougned Odor signed with the San Diego Padres, I believe, minor league deal. So there's a little small stuff there. Chris Sale pitched well for the Red Sox today, touching 95, smiling, and that's pretty rare for Chris Sale given all the stuff he's been through this year. James Paxton, another injury-filled time for him, the former top prospect for the Seattle Mariners, and pretty solid pitcher, has a grade 1 hamstring strain and will not be ready for opening day, so that opens up another spot for the Sox. I think that's all the major. And for the Braves, Ozzie Albies underwent that shoulder surgery and is finally cleared. He played second base a few days ago, but he's cleared for full and is totally cool and totally fine. So that is nice to know. Finally fully cleared and all that stuff. And I guess the indication there is that he played second a couple of days ago, so that's good. I think that's all the big major Braves news for today, since we finally had a day off today, and I was kind of happy about that. NFL news: Derek Carr signed a 4-year, $100 million contract with the Saints. I'm really glad that the Panthers did not touch that at all. The UNC has to make a run this week because I don't think we're making the tournament otherwise. Yeah, that's and the other NFL news was Geno Smith, 3-year, 105 with Seattle, and then Jameson. Apparently, Derrick Henry is on the trade block. Your thoughts are what? I honestly don't want Derrick Henry. I know he's a great player, but he's been hurt, and we've already tried the running back thing as a franchise player, and it didn't work. I trust that our new coaching staff will not do that. But who knows? But I would love to know your thoughts, Joseph, on that. That's fair. That's fair. I honestly myself, I don't know. There we go. Don't know what to make of them. And the Panthers already went through trading their star, even though we were in a completely different situation than you guys. So I will lay off on that because I don't get it right now. But I think, Joseph, I think it's a foregone conclusion that we will trade up for a quarterback. I don't know which one. I know my preference. Well, obviously, I know my preference list is Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis is the last one. Honestly, I'd probably take Hendon Hooker in the third round before I'd take Will Levis, but that out of Kentucky. But that is just my opinion. But there's gonna be a lot of movement. They're already. Well, yeah, I just gave you my order based on the all of the quarterbacks, but obviously Bryce Young or Stroud are the top two options, for sure. That's not a surprise nor by anybody, but there's gonna be a lot of movement, a lot of crazy stuff for NFL, and I'm gonna try to do the Panthers stuff and maybe overall. Yeah, I don't know what the direction of your team is, honestly. Yeah, I mean, Joseph, yes, obviously. They've played the last 3 or 4 games on the computer through the radio booth, so that's been fun. But to see our broadcast is going to be fun, and I'm really excited. Hopefully, Brandon Godden will be on it, so we can get a first look at his impression and how he does with the team and the Braves and all that stuff. It just means it's getting a lot closer, and I'm really excited about it. For sure. And then got a lot, and then obviously the Hurricanes are doing amazing. And then I mean the free agency stuff for football starts the 15th. You got the WBC. Chip Carey's already done the stuff for the Cardinals. Good for him. All that. Yep. And then the playoffs are going to be fun. The Hornets can't catch a break with LaMelo fracturing his ankle on a weird crossover. So that was fun. Not fun at all. Hope he changes shoe companies or whatever. Thank you. For that stuff. And hopefully he can figure that out, but it's going to be an ugly into the season for the Hurricanes the Hornets. I'm just kind of ready for that to be over. 15 games left, I think. Goss Despair has been a revelation for our power play. We're 6 of our last 7. So Ghost has been the secret sauce for us. Lakers are definitely lurking, and the Lakers are surprising to me. I like it. I mean, I'm happy for them that they haven't kind of folded without LeBron. That's a tough one, but they put up some nice wins of late. So, and I think they're obviously almost trending more than they're trending more than the Los Angeles Clippers, which is weird. And the Memphis Grizzlies, whatever that whole situation is not which is not the greatest situation. I don't know what's going on with John Morant and the Grizzlies, but that's not the best situation for them. But yeah, I mean, the NBA is going to be entertaining and very interesting, but I think a lot of people are discounting the Denver Nuggets and shouldn't. I don't think that's fair. I mean, I know Katie has made the Suns amazing, but I just can't discount the Joker and what he's done. And Steph returning for the Warriors, they're still they're still the defending champs until somebody knocks them off, and they're amazing at home. And they can squeak one out on the road, maybe. I mean, they've won a lot on the road in the playoffs. They've done it before. It was weird that the whole Wiseman thing, that they kind of pulled the plug that quickly, but they might have been right to pull the plug that quickly. The Hawks getting Quinn Snyder is nice, but they're still kind of filling things out, and I thought that they would be able to figure it out a little, like have a little more consistency. But I think they might have waited too long for the Nate McMillan thing to fire him. But that may just be me, an opinion there. So that's just a that's true. Um, if the Hornets don't get a top 2, top 3 pick this year, definitely would be a huge disappointment. But obviously, you need the lottery luck, and I think the Hornets have only had lottery luck once or twice. What's up, Hudson? I hope you got your phone fixed. We've kind of went through the whole gamut of it all. So I mean, we're all happy and excited for the Braves. They play tomorrow night, so that is good. So I don't have to rush and get up earlier than normal to watch them. Jared Schuster starting tomorrow, so that could be another wrinkle to the 5 rotation. But I feel like oh, that's the definition of a Monday right there. Your phone held together with rubber bands. That's good. I really like what Ronald and Eddie have done this spring so far. Yes, I would prefer Eddie to be a DH so we didn't have to worry about his defense. But because he's made a couple of throwing errors this spring so far, and I actually would prefer the right left platoon type thing at DH at this point. But that's just me. And I know Snickers said that Marcel's going to be on the team, but I really think that was just coach speak, and we'll see what really happens. Yeah, I don't think the top three are going to change. It's going to be Ronald, Olsen, Riley. Ronald Olsen, Riley, Sean Murphy, Travis, Michael Harris, the second ish. Um, Vaughn Grisham will be 7, 8, or 9. And then Eddie Rosario and that kind of thing. Um, yeah. And the way, like, we talked about the outfield situation earlier, like, the way they're hitting right now, and um, uh, he's hitting over 300, Grisham, and has made all the plays. Yeah, Olsen just looks super comfortable, and it's actually really funny to me that Olsen and Freddie both are doing but they're both absolutely crushing the spring, but like they're both like copying each other. I think they both have 3 homers and a lot of similar things. Yeah, he got pitch clock. Um, he got quick pitch yesterday with the pitch clock, and he didn't look comfortable against Rodon yesterday. But that stuff's gonna happen. But yes, situationally, for the majority, he has been able to come through and do really positive things. So VG, I feel really good about so far, and I'm really happy about that. Overall, for sure. Um, and I like that he doesn't have to be the guy. Um, yeah, I saw that. I mean, that's that's fine. If you really want to do that, but there's not many guys that you would actually do that to other than Joey Gallo. So, and he has, I would say Von Grisham is more more seasoned in um plate plate discipline and pitch awareness than Dansby, honestly. And obviously, I think everybody's going to strike out, but I think Vaughn's going to strike out less than people are probably expecting because he's had really good at bats and some good walks early on in spring too. That's another element that's really nice to see. Let me turn my fan on. It's really hot in here. Um, but yeah, that's. Oh, there we go. Much better. Yeah, and that's going to be really key because I think Vaughn is going to have a lot of those situations like first and third, 1 out, first and second, no outs. And for him to have this clutch of a start so far with it, for the most part, I think there's been only one situation that he hasn't done something positive with it. Um, uh, yeah, I know Dansby is trying to make himself good for make himself endear himself to Chicago fans, but it's definitely not the way I would do it. Um, But to each his own. Good luck in Chicago. And other than that, that's all I got for Dansby. But I would have thought he would be more better. I mean, you have $177 million. You have Mallory. You don't have to say that Atlanta is a kind of a big deal. You really don't. Oh, by the way, we're kind of a big deal, but we're stopping selling season tickets on March 17th because of such a high demand. So you can kind of say Atlanta's kind of a big deal. Sports are kind of a big deal all you want, but you just got proved wrong. So joke's on you. Yep, he could have done that. Obviously, I've never been in a situation where somebody offered me $177 million, so I don't know how it would handle the situation, but there are definitely different ways to handle things, and I would not pick the way Freddie nor Dansby have done it, because the reality of free agency is it's a part of the thing. It's a part of the process, it's a part of the business, and you don't have to trash the place that you left or seemingly dig at us. You just don't need to do it. So, yep. Yep, exactly. I'm sure Round World already has a kind of a big deal t-shirt. And that's the first time we've stopped selling season tickets this early because of such a high demand. So there you go. And once again, Dansby, enjoy the freezing cold weather in April and May, and it might be a couple of years before the Cubs even sniff the postseason. So enjoy the couch in October, I guess. I mean, whatever. Thank you for what you did for Atlanta, but enjoy Chicago and see what happens. Is my ultimate take on it, and hopefully that's the last time. Hopefully that's the last time I have to talk about him because he's not on our team anymore. Even though I appreciate him, I met him. It was a great situation. It's a great situation, but I love him for what he did. But yes, you're welcome. This might not be the last time you hear me have a rant. Probably the next one, maybe on Marcell Ozuna again, but hopefully not. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It is the Ozuna situation is what it is. It's gonna play out. He's not gonna play a lot because based on Hilliard, White, who's the other one? Hilliard, White, Pilar, and Luplo. That or confetti. Champagne or confetti, as long as it's on you. But I might do something like that. Who knows? Just because watching him bat is like painful at this point, and like I said, yeah, I think again, I think that's another Robbie Grossman, Jorge Soler, Eddie Rosario type of situation because Eli White's already said he's made some mechanical adjustments. And I don't know what magic sauce Kevin Seitzer or Chipper Jones or whoever it is has, but they always seem to have something. And it's funny to me that people were frustrated that we didn't do more with left fields. And I honestly think we would have done more with left field had the Ozuna contract not been a factor, but it is a factor. But we kind of cobbled this left field situation together, and now it seems like we have so many good players for not enough spots. And obviously, that's a great thing, but a terrible thing because somebody's going to benefit from us having to make the decision. But yeah, White Pilar, even Sam Hilliard's done some nice things, and they all have some really good speed. That's not a surprise. Hudson, UConn women basketball, even though they've struggled a little more this year. Yeah, I mean, because Kevin Pillar's 34, and he still puts it up and puts it down. But even with UConn struggling this year more than they typically do, you never count UConn women out. But also, guys, I talked about this earlier, but Forrest Wall and Justin Dean have put up amazing springs as well, and they're outfielders too. So who knows what happens there? But Forrest Wall used to be a top 100 prospect for the Rockies. He's done some really nice things. But really, we might lead the league in infield hits and stolen bases total this year. And I don't know. I mean, I know Luplo's the only one on a major league contract, I think, and he's been dealing with an oblique. So we'll see how that factors in. But but he's the only one that has a major league contract. But we've got a lot of good options. And it's really nice to see. And I think Matt is still faster than Ozuna, but that's just I don't know, that may be a real big tie for the slowest. No, that's definitely not a race I want to watch. But it's just kind of funny to think about. Um, yeah, Sean Murphy is gonna have fun hitting in a hitter-friendly ballpark of Truist Park for sure, and his overall ability is going to be really, really, really fun to watch. And I don't think that people are going to miss Willie C, because I will, but I think that'll wear off quickly, and it kind of already has with him starting in spring training and watching him catch behind the plate and things of that nature. Even though he had a weird throwing error yesterday, but that was kind of Ian Anderson's fault because he had him like a bucking bronco. So, and weird things happen in spring training. So that is what it is. But I'm really, really excited for Sean Murphy. A full year of Spencer Strider, and a full year of Michael Harris? Yes, please, and thank you. But I think it's going to be very, very, very interesting to watch these battles because they've gotten even more compelling than I anticipated them to be. Nick Anderson looks like an absolute steal right now, touching 95 and blowing it by people. He was my favorite underrated move. Yeah, for sure. He could maybe be the left field of the future-ish, maybe. But I really, honestly, like right now the way the roster is. Eli White's definitely growing on me, and he's a heck of a defender as well too. So, but Justin Dean, that would be a really cool story. I think he's from Lenore Ryan 2018 and like an 11th round pick. So again, that would be another graduation from our farm system that's subjectively the last farm system ranked in the league, or at least the 27th to 30th, which it's funny to me because we always have a prospect or two come up out of nowhere. No, I thought I heard Ben Ingram say Lenore Ryan. Somebody went to Lenore Ryan. I could be wrong, but I could definitely be wrong on that, but I'm not quite sure. But we hit the hour mark. I think I covered. Well, that is cool. Having some big league blood in. Yeah, probably North Carolina, I assume. I think I covered it all. Dinner tonight is burger, green beans, and applesauce. Yep. Yeah, my brother played against Lenore Ryan a lot. Both my brothers did. Both my brothers played against Lenore Ryan a ton. So I'm very familiar with them. They are very solid, or have been over the years. So that's kind of nice to see small town or small colleges and making do, even though the draft is less rounds and things of that nature. But different guys from different places are still finding ways to be seen. Yeah. My brother played at Carson Newman, and my other brother played at Pembroke. So they faced Lenore Ryan a good bit, even out of conference. But yeah, so that was always fun to follow, and I kind of missed the college vibe. Even though Charlotte UNC Charlotte isn't bad, but I never went to But I never went to any baseball games there, but I probably should have, but never got around to it. But it's just nice to see the difference and all of that stuff. But I think I covered it all this week. We game tomorrow, Wednesday, and then a split squad Friday. And I don't know why, like, all of my teams have the same exact schedule. All the teams are off today. Then all the teams play tomorrow. It's like they don't want to make it easy on me, but I love what I do, so it doesn't matter. But hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps out a lot. Thanks, guys. We'll talk again next week. And next week starts the NFL free agent frenzy, so there'll be a lot of that to talk about. And obviously the Braves cuts and things of that nature. And maybe Marcell Ozuna will get cut at some point, and maybe a Max Fried extension or something. But we can dream. I will have it all covered if it does happen. But as always, go Braves, champions forever. Talk to you guys next week. Take it easy.